I think okra is one of the best bargains in the vegetable world. It gives you a tall, healthy plant with few insect or disease problems, so it makes a good windbreak in the garden. And if you're willing to harvest it every day or every other day, you can get many, many tender pods for cooking in soups, for thickening soups, for freezing, for canning, and you can even dry it and mix it in with trail mix. Now this variety that I'm planting right now is jade okra, and jade is a new release from the University of Arkansas that they sent us to trial here on Oklahoma Gardening. It's one that stays tender up to 6 inches long, has heavy yields, and doesn't have very many spines, although it's not completely spineless. But we're going to try it here this summer and compare it with 2 other varieties that have been out for a while, and those are over here. One of them is Louisiana Green Velvet okra, and when you're planting okra, such as this Louisiana Green Velvet, if you want to get a quick start, soak the seeds in water for 24 hours overnight before planting. That will help that seed coat imbibe water and soften up, and you'll get faster germination, because sometimes okra takes a while, although our soils are certainly warmed up enough now to get a good stand of okra. Now when your okra comes up, you want the seedlings to be about a foot apart, and so one package will sow you quite a bit of seed. In fact, this little package I have here is enough to do a 75-foot row, and that'll certainly supply you with a lot of okra for your family, although I'm only doing about 10 feet of it here for trial. Then the next variety we have is Gold Coast, and Gold Coast variety was sent to us by a gardener who is finding it harder and harder to find this variety every year, and it's a favorite for him. He really likes it. He said the plants bear consistently clean up until frost, and it too stays very, very tender. Now when you're planting okra, make sure you give plenty of space between rows, a good 3 feet, because you're going to have to be getting in here picking frequently, and you don't want the plants to get in your way, especially if it is not spineless okra. One last tip on okra, I think it's one that you'll benefit from having in your garden because it's high in vitamin A and vitamin C, and it is one thing that will grow through the heat of summer with very little care. So try just even a small patch in your garden, even if it's just enough for fresh use. I think you'll enjoy it. Now the next thing I have to plant in this garden are some sunflowers over on the far end, and they'll also serve as a windbreak here for us out on the prairies of Stillwater. So let's get to that next. Well, I just finished putting the sunflowers in. The variety I'm planting is large flower giganteus variety. It's going to get about 8 to 10 feet tall out here in the garden. In a protected place that's protected from the wind, it may get even taller, especially with a lot of fertilizer and water. And that's the reason I think no garden in Oklahoma should be without sunflowers. No matter what else you grow, you should plant some, because if all else fails, long about late July, early August, you'll still have sunflowers looking beautiful in your garden. If you have sunflowers, put them off to one side. They can shade plants, and that can be a benefit in some areas of the state where you want a little shade from afternoon sun. They can also serve as a windbreak in the garden, so that's beneficial too. We're putting them off to one side of our tomato and pepper and okra patch. You can also choose short varieties if you want. Don't forget there are 2 new varieties out. One's called Teddy Bear, another one is called Sunspot, and they have some very interesting features that I think you'll enjoy.
We hope you've enjoyed this classic from the Oklahoma Gardening Vault. Remember, even though these tips and techniques are timeless, there's always something new to learn in the world of gardening. By subscribing to both Oklahoma Gardening and OK Gardening Classics, you'll have access to a wealth of gardening knowledge, both classic and contemporary.